All right, we're going to talk about a couple of things here in today's video. We're going to go through first impressions here for GwenPool and talk about why I think that most players should be excited for this character coming into Marvel Strike Force here. Also want to talk about this terrible blog post and why it's terrible, because I think it highlights a terrible trend that they have been going on for a while now, and I want to highlight that here. Something that you've already seen already, and that's actually going to be the first thing that we're going to talk about here in today's video. And it basically talks like right in the second paragraph is what I'm going to highlight here. So they mentioned it right here in the announcement for GwenPool. She's going to be a part of the new Warriors team, which is going to be a Cosmic Crucible team alongside Firestar and the previous three characters that were already there before. And they mentioned here, similar to how the Masters of Evil possess the tools to dispose of Wakandan teams, the new Warriors' combined skills make them the perfect squad to take down the lethal Tangled Web Eternals combo, who combined with Room 5 rules have been the cause of nightmares. And although the new Warriors will be the key to knocking the Tangled Eternals team down at peg, there'll be a strong Cosmic Crucible squad even away from Room 5. Let's take a look at Firestar and GwenPool, who are essential to countering the Tangled Eternals. And they doubled down on this statement here with, this is a Twitch response here from CM Archangel. I think it was, Mobile Gamer Stream here, where he mentions this team was always designed, referring to the new Warriors here, for Room 5. MOE was always designed for Room 6. Darkhold just proved to be so good that they said nah when Room 6 was adjusted the first time, and of course they put an LOL here. And I just honestly don't think that this is funny at all. Honestly, what this does is just confirm what we already knew about this, right? Is that they are doing this intentionally. They are forcing this game to be incredibly cookie cutter, super generic, no sort of creativity, theory crafting. Really much is going on in Cosmic Crucible right now. We already know that they've created Masters of Evil to defeat Wakandans. They've created now new Warriors to defeat MOE, and defeat MOE. They've created new Warriors to defeat Tangled Eternals. I just don't understand. Well, I do understand, actually. Let me backtrack on that. I believe that they feel that this is the only way that they can sell their teams, which I just don't think is exactly right. I think that there's definitely a way to go about doing this to where it still keeps the fun and the excitement into Marvel Strike Force. All they're doing is just creating a problem and then selling the solution to that problem. And to me, it's kind of sleazy. It's also making the game very boring. Their players actually like theory crafting. They like being able to figure out how to be able to beat a team. What I think that they should do, and I've mentioned this before already, for preseason, if you weren't here for preseason in Cosmic Crucible, this was a lot more fun. They had like these skill bonuses and Mystic Cosmic bonuses in these different rooms, and then players could kind of just mix and match different comps. Now, of course, eventually we always figured out a prime comp for a particular room, but at least for a couple of weeks, it created some excitement, created some joy, for players to try to figure out different combinations and things that they could use. Yes, eventually we landed on a specific prime. This is the best team to use in that particular room, but at least created some creativity for the first couple of weeks. The way that they're doing this now is just like, here's a problem, here's a solution, we're gonna sell this to you, and this is how we're gonna be able to make money. And I don't know about you guys, but personally, I am not excited about this at all. And the fact that they're blatantly saying it in the blog, to me, is telling. And it's also like they got the gall to do this. I gotta give them some kudos for even mentioning this here in the blog. But we're gonna talk about GwenPool here and just talk about my overall thoughts on the character. And the first thing is why I think that most players should be excited. And this is probably obvious, right? And it's a fact, it's a trait. It's a fact that she is, yes, hero, but she's also city, a new city character. This game has been lacking a lot of city characters. And when we're looking at things like Dark Dimension, like for right here, where we're jumping into this and we're looking at, okay, city non-legendary for your Dark Dimension 4, Dark Dimension 5, Dark Dimension 6 moving forward here. When you look at the options that are here, there's not really optimal choices that are available, except for maybe the fact that Cloak and Dagger now been reworked for the new Warriors counter, to be able to use it against Eternals, the Tangled Eternals team here. There's really no ideal comps that are here. A lot of players are still like, hey, I'm using Web Warriors. I try to advise them not to, but I can understand why they feel like they have to kind of go in that direction. So this is good that there's going to be another city character. Now, the one bad thing about it is the fact that GwenPool is going to be a mystic character. And if you're looking at things like Morgan Le Fay or wanting to bring in other Darkhold characters, Spider Weaver, Deathpool, who you do need for Apocalypse, that does make it a little more challenging to try to double down, to triple down, quadruple down on characters like that. So you're probably going to have to be a little bit more wiser in regards to what you pick and select. But I will say this too, that Firestar also does have the city tag too. That's a part of that New Warriors team. So I think that that's going to go a long way as well. She is mutant. There's not a ton of mutants that you typically tend to bring into Dark Dimension 5, although maybe that might be more optimal if you're just looking to get Apocalypse. That might be the good way to go, but at least Firestar as a mutant character will provide you with another solid option. I think probably GwenPool's kit though might be better, like individually, outside of Cosmic Crucible. We're going to take a look here at GwenPool and kind of just peruse through this very quickly and kind of just give my thoughts here. So we'll talk about like her passive ability here, which I think is pretty good. And obviously these two characters, you're going to need both of them if you're going to want to be able to counter Tangled Eternals. So GwenPool and Firestar, because of the 50% accuracy that they give to their team, which ultimately negates Spider Weaver in that room, right? So passive here on spawn, applying a +1 evade up to a maximum of 5 to self and all New Warrior allies. That's definitely going to be helpful, especially for Cloak. On Cosmic Crucible on spawn, she's going to give them 2 evade there. Uncharged, so there's going to be chargeable mechanics for this team. Unchargeable New Warrior ally turn, apply 1 charge up to a maximum of 5 to that ally, and then on CC offense, apply an additional 1 charge up to a maximum of 5 to that ally. When this character drops below 50% max health, if this character does have taunt, then she'll heal for 40% of this character's max health, gain stealth and clear taunt, and then she's going to be giving them plus 50% armor, and then on Cosmic Crucible additional health, which is definitely needed because Cloak, Dagger, mainly Cloak, is a very squishy character. Deathpool can kind of get knocked down too at times fairly easily, mainly because of placement. So it's good that they're going to be getting additional help. But this is the big one right here, the 50% accuracy for self and all New Warrior allies. Firestar does this as well. So that gives them the extra, basically 200% accuracy. So when the Spider Weaver knocks them down by 100, they're still going to have 100% accuracy here, being able to hit. Ultimate, I like a lot. Looks like it's going to do a lot of damage here. It is you won't get this until turn 2, turn 3. So she's going to be able to clear all negative effects from herself and New Warrior allies, right? So I'm looking at things like this where I'm like, okay, this is going to be useful outside of Cosmic Crucible, looking at something like Dark Dimension. The team overall, by the way, is still going to be a pretty good team. I'm wondering whether or not you might be able to use a full New Warriors team in raids. I mean, they did get some boosted, so a little bit of a boost here. So I'm wondering if they're still gonna, if they could potentially be a viable team in sort of like your Mystic section for Doom raids, being that Deathpool, Cloak, Dagger still have that within their kits there. I'm curious to see how that would work. But clearing all negative effects himself and all New Warrior allies is definitely going to be helpful. This is big in Crucible though, the safeguard, the defense up, and the speed up, the self and all New Warrior allies, and then on Cosmic Crucible offense, characters killed by this attack cannot be revived. I think Deathpool has that in her kit too. So you're getting a couple needed hits there. Most like what you're hoping for is that when you do get to this ultimate eventually for her, that you're able to knock and kill a character and then they won't have to revive, because you definitely do need that, because Cersei gives them the revive once in that room. And then here with her special, a cut above, she gets this on spawn, doing some damage here, additional adjacent targets, flipping positive effects into negative effects on each target. So maybe probably Raider would be good because of the multi-target hits there, applying deflect to self and all New Warrior allies. And it's big to mention too that in Cosmic Crucible, Deathpool is going to give ability energy once they do start killing characters, so that's going to be pretty helpful as well. Gaining immunity here in Crucible, flipping stealth on each target, that's also pretty big. Fill this character speed bar by 70%. I'm really liking her kit in Cosmic Crucible right now. 1000% extra focus for this attack. This attack can change to stealth targets, so I mean that's fairly big here, guys. I mean, I like this so far. Counter attack breaks the chain, and if this character has 3 or more New Warrior allies, this attack cannot be counter attack. So that's as a safeguard there into her abilities. I'm liking the flipping 3 positive effects, 2 negative effects on each target. I'm liking that as well here. Clear all negative effects from self and new warrior. So she has a cleanse, and then she has a dispel for the team. Dispel for the team, or clear cleanse for the team, dispel for the enemies. I like it. And then basic attack here, quick shot, clear all barrier on the primary target. If the primary target has barrier, barrier cell for 30% of this character's max health. The primary target did not have barrier, instead barrier for 15%. That's at the primary target of 30% damage. So I guess that she's probably going to be a pretty big damage dealing character if I were to take a wild guess here. And then defense up for 2 turns to a random new warrior ally that does not have defense up. Because of the multi-target, multi-adjacent hits here, I'm thinking that maybe Raider might work, but I do believe that between her and probably Firestar, that Striker might be a consideration, because right now I know a lot of players are running Dagger as a Raider and then also running Cloak as a Striker. Sorry, Cloak as a Skirmisher. So Cloak as a Skirmisher, Dagger as a Raider. A lot of people are running GwenPool as a Striker. Maybe having another Striker on the team may not be a terrible direction to go, especially if you're going to be able to give additional barrier here for her. Maybe not terrible direction. I might have to evaluate this a little bit more here. I'm trying to remember what Firestar Striker attack does. Looks like here she can give some charges here. She can give some charges with her basic attack. So maybe she might be a better consideration. But it might be Raider, Skirmisher, Raider, and then even GwenPool as a Striker to basically do the additional damage. That might be the case. But I like her kit so far. I think it's good that we're getting another city character. I would like to see them continue this trend. I still think characters like Titania and Absorber Man probably should be. I get why Absorber Man isn't, but at least Titania I think probably should have been a city character if you ask me. But what are your thoughts, guys, on the stuff here? What are your thoughts on the kit? How do you feel about it? Do you feel like it's pretty good? What are your thoughts on the cookie cutter stuff that we're getting right now from Cosmic Crucible? Are you frustrated where that is concerned as well? But appreciate you watching the video. Like and subscribe for more on the channel here. Hit the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. Until next time, guys, I'll be blessed. I'll be safe.